Welcome to Inside Your Head. This is Nasty Neil, and I'm joined by Carlo Rizzi of The Godfather, Gianni Russo. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I didn't know you were known as Nasty Neil.
Yeah, now a few years ago, one of my guests gave me the name Nasty Neil, and I kind of liked it, so I let it stick.
No, I love it. That's what people say about Nasty Carlo. Pregnant women cross the street when they see me.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, first of all, I want to talk about your book, which comes out next year, but when did you start writing
so interesting. I wrote it in 95, and then I kept changing it, obviously. And I had to because my legal department told me that you got to wait for some of these guys to die. So I did. But it's a tell-all, and I'm glad you mentioned it because I'm getting so much buzz on it already. Amazon has it up for sale already. I can't believe it. Comes out March 12th, the 47th anniversary of Godfather, which we thought it would be great. And the title, obviously, is the Hollywood Godfather. Mm-hmm. And so it's a tell-all. It's my life around the mob, in the mob, and everything I did with the casino in Vegas and the favors I did for so many people, including 6 presidents and 3 popes. So It should be an interesting read. But they already sold 3,200 advance copies.
Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. I was going to say, besides legal, or you would want some of the people maybe not around just besides, if they want to sue you or anything, maybe they'd want to come after you.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, the last guy who just died, who was a Genovese boss, and I knew him well, Nicky Gianni Russo. He was 96. 96. And he said, and I saw him just a couple of months prior to dying. He says, you'll be able to release that book soon. Which I thought was funny. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, it is funny. And when did you even openly talk about being ever associated with the mob?
Well, it's ironic. It's been my life because my great uncle, Angelo Russo, he was caught by Interpol when he left Sicily for the first time ever to go to a friend of his daughter's wedding, and they caught him in England and they hung him. And,
wow.
But he was responsible for sending Carlo Gambino and Frank Costello, Vito Genovese to America in the early, 1900s. Mm-hmm. So I've been around that life indirectly and all my life because I'm half Sicilian and half Napolitan, and those 2 areas control most of the mobs. Yeah.
So when you grow up around that and then become part of it, how do you view it? Do you and do you view it differently now than you did when you were younger?
Well, the mentors I had early on, like Mr. Gambino and all that, I used to go to the cafe every Sunday morning just to pay my respects, like an old uncle, not realizing, who and what he was at that time. And he was a gentleman. He's not like, the John Gottis of the world and even the Spilatros out of Chicago. These are loud, boisterous people who wanted the attention. Most of the old timers, and there's still a few around. I go to Sicily a lot, and there's still some around that you wouldn't even know who they are. Mm-hmm. But, this new regime with no respect and all of that. I've watched it, fortunately. I'm 75 years of age. Mm-hmm. So I've watched it at an early age. I was born on Mulberry Street. So that alone, I was thrown in if you didn't want to know what it was.
Right. So how accurate would you say, a lot of the movies are?
Well, I think the most accurate, basically, and not selfishly, but Mario Puzo did his homework. There was 3 Godfathers who made up Vito Corleone, and I knew the 3 of them. Joe Pafacci, that's where the oil company came in, and Mr. Gambino, obviously, and Vito Genovese. And then a tinsel of the man who raised me was Frank Costello, and that's where they got the line where he has all the politicians and judges in his pocket. That was Tammany Hall. Mm-hmm. And so I was thrown into that when I was 13, 14 years of age. I was a messenger for Costello all those years until he died in the 73. He died when he was 73 years of age. So I was around him all that time.
Did he die before The Godfather came out?
No, he died after The Godfather came out. Actually.
All right. So I was just wondering, did he? Do you know?
No, he gave me my blessings.
Oh, okay.
No, the only guy that didn't like The Godfather after it came out was Sinatra. He didn't like it even being made, which is another whole story that he and I had a conversation about. But the old timers loved the way they glorified it. They loved it, the life of it.
You mentioned Sinatra. Were you friends with Sinatra before you did The Godfather?
Again, because Costello owning the Copa, right here, I'm on 61st. This is one of Costello's buildings I live in right now, and still do for 65 years. But down the block, right off Fifth Avenue, was the Copa. So at 15, 16, I'm backstage every night because this guy owned it. I had the run of the place. They only knew me as the kid. So I met Sinatra when he was playing the Copa. That's how long I knew him. In fact, I brought him to tears one night. He couldn't believe it. Because, I told him how much I liked him, and that's in between shows at the Copa. And he gave me respect just because of Costello, obviously. And I told him that how he changed my life in 1949. He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, I got polio in 1949. I was quarantined to Bellevue, a state hospital, for 5 years. And for the first 3 or 4 months, all I did was cry because I didn't know what I was doing there. I was 7 years old. And then Dolores Barone, a niece of Carlo Gambino, that's the kind of luck I have, was a candy striper. By the time I came out, she was a full-blood nurse. But she gave me a little transistor radio. And on December 12th, Sinatra's birthday, WNEW announced that it was the chairman of the board's birthday and all of this. And that was my birthday. So it was like a birthday gift to me being alone in quarantine.
Yeah.
And I related to him immediately, saying, "Look, the guy's from Hoboken, an Italian-American, and he's a legend." And so it gave me some inspiration and a desire to get out of there. Because I watched 20 kids die in my 20-bed ward over those 5 years I was there. So when I met him finally, I told him the story. He started crying.
Wow.
I said, and then he baptized my last son, Luciano, too. I've stayed in touch with him. But he's not a nice guy. He's a nice guy if he isn't drinking. When he gets drunk, he's a nasty drunk. Jackie Gleason was the same. I was around all those guys at Toots Shore.
Yeah.
But Sinatra, a funny story, if we have time.
Sure.
When I got cast in The Godfather, Sinatra had Dorothy call me, his secretary. And she said, "The old man wants to talk to you." I said, "Great, put him on the phone." He said, "Johnny, we're friends, right?" I said, "Yeah, Frank, of course." He said, "Well, a lot of my friends, like Vic Damone and different people, were asked to do The Godfather. I asked them not to. And I know you were cast to do it. I'd really like you not to do it." So I thought about it for a minute. I said, "Okay, Frank, I won't do it." So now I hang up. 2 or 3 days go by. I'm really pissed because, I already told everybody I was doing it. Nobody believed I got in the movie because I'm not an actor at the time. It was the first movie I made. So I called Sinatra back 3 days later. I said, "Dorothy, can I talk to the old man?" So he gets on the phone, and I used the same line. I said, "Frank, we're friends, right?" He said, "Of course." I said, "If I asked you not to do Here to Eternity, would you have done it?" And he hung up on me. And obviously I did The Godfather. He didn't talk to me for 3 years, but didn't mean anything.
Right. So I assume his problem with the movie was the Johnny Fontaine character?
Well, yeah, because in the movie, as we all know, they made it look like the mob spoke for him to get that part. What really pissed him off about that was Ava Gardner, who he was totally enamored with and in love with, screwed old man Cohen to get him the part because she knew she screwed up his life. I mean, he tried to kill himself, and most people don't know this. On 72nd Street, where he lived in that building, so did James Woods, not the actor. James Woods, his agent at William Morris,
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't sing them. You know, he was just totally distraught. So he put his head in the oven of James Wood's oven in his apartment. And thank God his neighbor smelt the gas. They broke in and saved his life. But it destroyed his vocal cords even more.
Mm.
So he needed that part.
Mm-hmm.
So she went to him, Cohen, and said, listen, you got to give him the part. And that's where they got that line even. I ain't giving that police oil, Dinny, that, you know, all that shit.
Uh-huh.
And she said, you've been trying to fuck me for years. How about I go to Acapulco with you for the weekend? You can have your way with me, but he gets the part. That's how he got the part.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it destroyed him. To know that she did that for him, number one, and they're giving the credit to the mob.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
It's in my book.
Mm-hmm.
With a little more detail, too.
Yeah, of course. I was just wondering, because you said, The Godfather is kind of an amalgamation of like different people. Do you think maybe the Johnny Fontaine character was the same way? That maybe it wasn't that they got it wrong, they kind of combined it with another story?
Well, no, they knew Sinatra was around the mob. Mario was never around the mob.
Sure.
I mean, I know Mario Puzo 100 years, and he was into us for a lot of money because he's a degenerate gambler. But no, I mean they elaborated on. I don't think, number one, they were going to say that Ava Gardner fucked Omer Cohen to get the part.
Right. So I know
I think he gave it more intrigue with the horse and all that. It's perfect,
definitely. It's a iconic scene.
Oh my God, the cutting a horse's head off was amazing.
Yeah, of course. So I know you mentioned that's your first movie, which is really amazing. I think one of the most I think the greatest movie ever made, and that's your first movie. So how did you even get involved? Because it's all these amazing actors.
Well, what happened is I read the book, and I used to go to the Palm Restaurant on 2nd Avenue every Sunday night around 9:30, 10 o'clock. Before I went to see Ian Schrager and Ron and all those guys at Studio 54, because that was a private party on Sunday nights. So I was there every Sunday. Everybody knew that. So Rocky, one of the owners, came over to me and said, this guy wants to talk to you. Because I lent a lot of money out of that restaurant. So this guy comes over to me and he introduced himself as Al Ruddy. I said, Al Ruddy? I know that name. I said, how do I know that name? He said, I produced Hogan's Heroes, which was my favorite movie. Favorite TV show.
Yeah.
At night, it was insane. My Clink and all them. They were very funny.
Definitely.
So I said, what do you want? He said, I need $35,000. And Rocky, I know Rocky 100 years. He said, you may be able to arrange to get it. I said, what's it for? He said, I want to buy the rights from Mario Puzo to make The Godfather into a movie. I said, you're kidding me. This is like 1969.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. I'll give you the money. So I told my driver, I said, Rocky, go. I told Rocky to get my driver. So he gets the driver. The driver comes in. I said, get me 3.5 wrappers out of the trunk. He knew what I meant. So he brings in, I used to wrap $10,000 increments in tinfoil, keep it in the car.
Oh, okay.
Because I gave a lot of money out. It was Costello's money, not my money.
Mm-hmm.
And so he came in with it, and I sat down, and I opened up the wrappers, and Ruddy almost got diarrhea. He said, give me the money now. I said, yeah, why? He says, don't have to sign anything? I said, yeah, you just sign a napkin. So I got a napkin, and I wrote out an IOU. And before I made him sign it, I said, listen, here's what I'm going to do, Al. If you don't make the movie, you don't have to pay me back. Now, everybody was looking at me. What's he going fucking nuts? Yes, you don't have to pay me back. But if you don't make the movie, I'm taking over your rights. I'll get the movie made. Because I really wanted to become an actor. My ego, but I wasn't going to go through tests and all that bullshit in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I buy the rights to the book with him. They're developing it into a script. And here comes Joe Colombo picketing the FBI building, Italian Defamation League. This is the worst movie in the world for Italians. So I'm saying, like you said, me being around the mob, I knew what it was all about. They want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So I go see Joe, whose office was on Madison Avenue. It's ironic because I just got off the phone with Barry Slotnick, one of the most prominent attorneys in New York. He was their attorney, and now has been my attorney all this time. In fact, he made my deal with Paramount. So I go see Joe, and I said, Joe, you're selling $1 a button, these membership buttons. You know how many buttons you got to sell? If you let me and Barry talk to Paramount, let's see what's bothering you in the script. We could change it. Let them make the movie. I'll make you make millions. He said, how are you going to do that? I said, well, if you let them make the movie, I'll get you the world premiere in every major city that's got a population of Italian Americans. Now you could charge them $100 a ticket to see the movie. It's a preview before anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you could do that? I said, of course. Now I walked out of here. I never even talked to Paramount about that deal, but I figured, let me work it out.
Uh-huh.
So I called Ruddy, and that, as my luck would have it, the Sunday morning prior to this meeting on Monday in New York, they blew up the Paramount gates. Those gates, that were about 20 feet tall, were laying on the street of Melrose Avenue because they were opposed. They were, demonstrating not to make the movie. Mm-hmm. So now I go to the Gulf and Western building, which is now Trump International on 33rd Street, and I'm sitting in the lobby, and I'm waiting for Stanley Jaffe and all of them, and there I was. I said, I could straighten this out for you. I didn't know. They said, wait down here. I thought they went upstairs to call the FBI on me because the gate just got blown up. Right. Next thing you know, they ushered me upstairs, and I give them a proposal. I said, let's bring him in. And I said, you all just read the book. Let's have a sit down here. We'll bring Joe Colombo. We'll bring his lawyers. You bring your legal team in. Let's see what's bothering them. Let them read the script. And then unbeknownst to them, I didn't tell them what I said. I said, they can't read anyway. Don't worry about it. They all started laughing. So I have a meeting. I call a meeting. Everybody comes. Butter Chico, Boozy, all of them. And obviously senior and junior come to this meeting. So now I make the proposal. Here's what he wants to do. Let Barry Slotnick, he's sitting here, have the script. He'll mark it up. We'll come back. If you agree, we'll sanction the movie, or Joe will, the league, and get you all the cooperation you want in the neighborhoods, plus the union cooperation, and go forward with it. So they all agree. They all shake hands. They're all getting up. So I look at Joe. I said, Joe, whoa, what about me? He said, oh, yeah. So he raises his hand and motions them all to sit down. And my God, they all sat down. I'm talking about, Stanley Jaffe, Bobby Evans, everybody that runs Paramount. And he said, what about my boy? What are we going to do? He said, oh, no, we'll give him a part. I said, excuse me. I said, I don't want a part. I made a deal whether I play Michael, Sonny, or Carlo. They all looked at each other. And at that time, which a lot of people don't know, James Caan was playing Michael. Carmen Caridi from The Man from La Mancha on Broadway, because they thought he should be a big guy, was playing Sonny. I said, well, who's playing Carlo? They said, nobody. So I looked at Joe. So Joe says to him, he's playing Carlo. They said, okay, we make the deal. He could play Carlo. And that's how I got the part.
That's pretty wild. So when you're actually when you're making the movie, do the other actors, did any of them bring up that, that you've not been in anything, you've not acted before?
Oh, not only that. The good news, they had the rehearsal for a week. Francis came up with the idea, let's go to Patsy's restaurant, 119th Street. They had a big room in the back. Now, Patsy, I don't know if you know Patsy. He was the underboss of the Gambino family. Not the Gambino, the Genovese family. And we used to go up there all the time. Even Sinatra, after the Copa, they were open 24 hours a day for pizza. So now the idea was Francis had everybody come, the whole cast, and they look like they were, my God, they're dressed better than some of these people. And I'm already driving a 65 Bentley with a Chinese chick chauffeur. And I pull up, and they're all coming in station wagons, whatever the studio got them. And they had all kinds of Italian food on the table. And Francis Ford Coppola said, I want the Italians to generate all their mannerisms. If they're eating, they're talking, their hand gestures for the non-Italians, like James Caan being Jewish, Marlon Brando being Polish, to take on all of this. So we go through the first read-through, and they even said on the call sheet, which I never had a call sheet in my life, said it's going to be a cold reading. I thought they were going to turn the air conditioning on. What the hell do I know about a cold reading? And all we did was, it started with Vito Corleone. He got up high on Marlon Brando. I'm playing Vito Corleone. Then it went to Morgana King, his wife. And everybody, even Pacino, everybody said who they're playing. And me being in the immediate family, I was like sixth or seventh in the chair. Mm-hmm. And then it went around the whole table. So the first break, you could see all these thespians, all these great actors like Pacino and James Caan and the other kid was fabulous. He died early, Fredo. John, what was his name? Well, anyway, they all wanted to approach Brando, but nobody did. Mm-hmm. Brando walks over to me, and he says to me, I know you. You're a big actor, but you got a movie coming out. I said, no. He said, you have a big TV show. I said, no. He said, you're not on Broadway. I know everybody on Broadway. I said, you're right. He said, who'd you study with? I said, study what? Witness, he calls Francis over. He says, Francis, this guy's playing Carlo. And Francis very reluctantly said, yeah, we know. He said, he's got to be a great actor. And I didn't even break down the script. He breaks it down in front of me, saying to Francis, to your audience, Francis Ford Coppola, mm-hmm. He says, he marries my daughter. He undermines my family. He gets my son, Sonny, killed. This guy's got to be so believable. You got to rethink this. So again, me never being on a set or in rehearsals, I didn't know you couldn't dismiss the director. So I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. I said, Francis, go over here a minute. I got to talk to this guy. Then I did another sacrilege thing. I put my arm on him. I put my arm around him. I said, come over here. I want to talk to you. And in the back of Patsy's, they used to have a Ziganet game. I knew it was going on all the time in the night. The room would be empty. I didn't want to embarrass the guy. So I walk him into the back. The whole room, you could hear a pin drop. They're all saying, like, who the fuck is this guy? So I walk him in the back. As soon as we're out of earshot of everybody, I turn him around. I said, let me just tell you something. Yeah, I don't give a fuck who you are. I just had a big party. Nobody believes I'm in the movie to begin with. Now, you think you're going to take this part away from me? I will suck on your fucking heart. You will not make the front door. You fuck this up for me. You hear me? He raises his hand. He steps back. He said, that was brilliant. You could do this part. He thought I was fucking acting. I was mad. And we were friends ever since. I gave him his biggest paycheck he ever got. I gave him $12 million to do The Freshman. It was the spoof with, remember, Matthew Broderick, Bruno Kirby, all of us. I was in that movie too.
Yeah.
So
that's a good movie.
So I gave him a check for $12 million for that film. Wow. Not me, Warner Brothers. Right. I got him to do it.
Yeah. You didn't have that many rappers in the back to give him the $12 million.
No. Well, I could have arranged it. Believe me. The Wyndham Hotel was our bank on 58th Street. Mm-hmm. The whole floor had more money than some banks in New York.
So was it just that instant right there when he turned and like, hey, I like this guy. He likes you.
Yeah, and that was it. Then I picked him up every day. He was on the set for the wedding on Staten Island and all that. Mm-hmm. He was staying at the Elysee Hotel on 54th Street. He wasn't going to stay at the Park Lane where they put us. I had a bigger apartment around the corner, but I wanted to stay in the hotel. Right. Plus, I was fucking, I just wanted to be around all these people. Now, the Hollywood, I loved it.
Yeah.
So I used to pick him up every day in my Bentley, only to find out he loved my little chauffeur, and I finally sent her over to Indonesia. I mean, where the hell he had the island? In Tahiti.
Mhm.
and she's still over there. I think he's dead, and she's still there.
Oh wow.
But anyway,
Yeah. So
no, it was great.
what was he like as a person, Marlon Brando?
Oh, he was a great practical joker, so much fun. If he liked you, but a recluse, he had to be around his own people.
Hmm.
And then I did a big favor for him when his son, his son that he killed his brother-in-law, his attended brother-in-law. Well, we were neighbors. My house on Mulholland Drive is still there. My kids live in it. It's 10,000 square foot between Brando and Jack Nicholson's house. So he called me that night around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. He said, "You got to help me." I said, "Help you? What happened?" He says, "Christian just killed my Cheyenne's boyfriend. I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Yeah, he was beating her up, and my son came to my side of the house. He had his house cut in half, literally. He had doorways where you had to ring the bell to go on the other side of the house where he lived. He didn't want the kids bothering him. He was so fucking nuts." So I said, "What do you want me to do?" And at that time, most of your audience knows this, I just beat a murder that I committed in my casino in Las Vegas. I killed Pablo Escobar's underboss, Lorenzo Morales, in my club, October 28, 1988 or 89.
Mm-hmm.
And so he knew I beat that case. So he said, "You got to help me." I said, "I'll help you." I said, "What number should I give this guy to call you?" He said, "Who's the guy?" I said, "The guy that defended me. He didn't have to do nothing, believe me, but he'll help you." Mm-hmm. So I hang up the phone. It's a true story. Robert Shapiro's still alive. I hope he's listening to this podcast. So I call Bobby up, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. He's an arrogant little guy. He says, "What are you calling me so late for?" I said, "Shut the fuck up, okay? It's Gianni Russo." He says, "Oh, I'm sorry." I said, "I got a client for you." He said, "Can they call the office in the morning?" I said, "No, he needs you to represent him right away." He said, "Who is it?" He's Marlon Brando. I said, "Oh, give me the number, please. I'll call right now." And it was even funnier because I sleep sporadically. I deal in 4 different countries. So
Mm-hmm.
with this said, at 7 o'clock in the morning, I turn on the news in L.A., and there's Shapiro with Brando outside the correctional center getting Christian out.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you know the case. He only did 5. He got sentenced for 5. He did only 3 years.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
No, not bad at all.
But the reason, that's how long and indebted. I used to meet this guy all over and say, "Come and get me." We used to go to Trader Vic's in the Hilton Hotel right in Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd go there. He'd bring his German Shepherd. He'd sit at the table like it was a person. Nobody said anything to this guy. They just loved him, but he was nuts.
So I have a question. When you say you beat the murder case, but you still talk about it, like, can they not do anything about it anymore?
Well, how can they? Status is gone.
All right.
No, I had 3 situations. One early on. No, it's so funny because I laugh. Even the old men and the old timers would say, "See this kid? We know that he killed 3 people. He never did a J in jail. I never had handcuffs on." I used to leave. I'd get the fuck out. What am I going to do here? Sit and try. Get out of here. See you later.
Uh-huh.
And Barry Schwartz beat every case for me.
Mm-hmm.
He took the summons and he said, well, where's your client? He said, "He's not in this country." I didn't even know how to get in touch with him. But here I am.
Right.
They were all beat because it was all self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
The first guy tried to. He was a pedophile, and they were very happy for me to take him out. Mm-hmm. But the other guy in my club, he stabbed one of my customers, and then he slit my throat. That was all over the newspapers, everywhere.
Oh wow!
October 20th, in the State Street. You can look it up. Mm-hmm. October 28th, 1988, State Street. I shot him in front of 150 people right in the squad. Mm-hmm. But then he didn't go down. I didn't realize. The coroner told me. He said, "You had to shoot him in the back of the head. That's why he looked at you for a couple of minutes." Imagine a guy's got a hole in his head. You put it in his head, and now he's still coming at you.
Uh-huh. Quite the experience, I imagine. Yeah. So, but you said he was an underboss. So, not only legally, but was there any chance of someone coming after you for revenge of that?
Oh, was there ever? I went over there. No, it's funny. I had to go see John Gotti, because I figured he's got to know this guy. But John always hated me, and so I went anyway. And O'Neill, who he adored, O'Neill was his man, and O'Neill and I were like, brothers. So O'Neill told me to go see him. He arranged for me to go there, figured I'd never come back, but here I am. And then, which bothered me most, because I got to be friends with Pablo over the next few days, because it happened to be The Godfather was his favorite film. And he couldn't believe I was Carlo, and I came over there to see him. That happened with Saddam Hussein with me, too. I mean, it was crazy.
What's that? Saddam Hussein?
Well, I deal a lot of money. I was laundering a lot of money legally, paying. I was a courier. We used the Vatican Bank. It's all in my book, and that's why this book is so nuts. I have 2 movie companies already trying to option it.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. It sounds like there's
Leonardo DiCaprio wants to play me.
Oh, well, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I was going to say there's so many stories. I think it might have to be a series instead of one movie.
Well, that's what they're talking about, but and De Niro is very close to me, and he's saying to me, "You should do what we do with The Irishman. There's more money in it." But I'm old school. I want to go to the premiere. I want to go to Cannes Film Festival. I've been there so many times. See, what people don't realize, with The Godfather and the other films I've been in, they won 9 Oscars. I like going to Cannes Film Festival. Yep. I got a 120-foot Riva. I bring the boat over. I'm like a movie star. I have fun. I have people over on my boat. My greatest credit right now, I threw Harvey Weinstein off my boat because I thought he was a dirty old man, and only to prove he was.
When did you do that?
Oh, man, so many times. I was over there for The Godfather. I was Godfather 1 and 2. I was over there for another movie I did called For Which She Stands. I was over there for, look at the movies I did. Any Given Sunday, Striptease, Seabiscuit, great movie. They were all my movies. I learned the business well.
Yeah. So you knew about Harvey, or at least knew that he wasn't like a good guy.
My God, yeah. It was a pedophile rat that he is. One thing, to me, there's women that are willing to do that. Well, I think they're all getting what they deserve, man.
Like
he couldn't get laid in a Chinese whorehouse with a handful of yen the way he looks. Forget about it.
Yeah, I'd interviewed Richard Stanley, the director, a couple of years ago, and he went really into detail about Harvey Weinstein, and it was before all the stuff came out, and then it was about 6 months later, I was like, wow, this guy had told me all this stuff on the show.
No, but the interesting thing is that I was close friends for the last 4 years of Marilyn's life. They asked me to take care of her when she was having all these problems in New York. So it was my pleasure, telling me to go take care of her. I was 16 years old. Forget it. I used to walk around with an erection all day long. But she told me about the casting couches and, what's his name, Daryl Zanuck. It was that's the way the business was. And male or female. Rock Hudson was raped by his agent. There were so many stories with these guys. But yeah, you won't believe what happened to me. They cast me right after The Godfather to do Myra Breckinridge. And, Michael Sarn was an English director coming over to do it. It was Mae West and all these people. And my agent, Jack Gelati, said, this is a great stepping stone. The next one, So I go there, and I was curious right away when the reading was going to be 8:00 at night in Mae West's dressing room on the Fox back lot. It's okay. So I always get drive-ons anyway. So I drive, and I'm not my driver. He said, when should I come back? I said, I don't know. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. I don't know if I'm staying long. So now I go in there, and here's Mae West. She looks like the lampshade in my grandmother's living room. She had so much chiffon on and all this shit. The whole thing was pink lit. And it's only her and that fag Michael Son in there. I said, where's the rest of the cast? So we wanted to talk to you about the part and all of this. I said, okay. So then she says, there's a lot of nudity in this? I said, I didn't read any nudity. She said, well, Michael and I have been talking about it. And she said, you look like you're in pretty good shape. I was like 27, 28 years of age. I'm still in good shape at 75. I said, yeah. She said, well, how do you feel about nudity? I said, I love nudity. I love everybody being nude. So she said, well, can we see your body? I says, if you give me the part and pay me a lot of money on the set, yes. Well, we have to see it now. I said, let me just tell you something. You're perverted. And I left. I wasn't getting out the gate. My phone in my car rang. I had one of the first phones. And it's Jack Gelati. He said, are you crazy? You walked out on Michael's phone. I said, yeah. You go suck his dick. Get the fuck out of here. I hung up on him. But that's my experience with it.
Right.
Even a guy like Dom DeLuise, I thought the guy was straight. He came on to me. Merv Griffin I did 23 Merv Griffin shows. He used to come in my dressing room all the time. I said, Merv, I'm not that way. See you later. I just throw him out. He used to love it because I used to chase him. I said, you got Jack Sheldon. He likes you. Leave me alone.
So, being the Godfather being your first movie and you're a young guy, that's got to be an amazing experience. But at the same time, was there any negative aspects at that time for you? Because it's like you did such a big movie. Kind of, where do you go from there? You can't really go any higher.
But you know what the interesting thing was? At the time, it wasn't a big movie. It was so funny. We didn't even know they were going to release it.
Right.
The movie picked up momentum when it became a video. Where you could buy it as a DVD, not a DVD. Yeah, what was the first video? It was a video.
VHS.
VHS, yeah. But after, once it came out, it was huge success. It was like anything else. It was like the last date on Saturday. You forgot it.
Right.
But, after a couple of months, okay, The Godfather. It wasn't until it got on television, and then Godfather 2 kept building momentum then. And now the franchise that it is, it's insane. I mean, I make right now, like I'm about to launch Corleone Family Selections. I'm the ambassador to this brand. We own the IP of 200 images of Marlon Brando, his voice. We launched just recently on Liquorama. You can go on to Liquorama. You'll see the Godfather vodka there. We launched, and we had Marlon Brando do the commercial. We have 10 million daily followers on the Godfather website. In 48 minutes, they had 2 million hits.
Wow.
Now I'm opening 17,000 grocery stores starting this August with Corleone Family Selections. We own the IP of the original Genco olive oil can that De Niro hand Cheech in Italy before he cut them up.
Yeah.
Amazon thinks they'll sell 1 million of those cans for Christmas this year as souvenirs. That's how big this brand is.
Yeah.
It's in 41 countries. I ship China. We ship, you name it. We ship this goods already. Nobody took all these products. Nobody licensed them. My company licensed everything. We own it all.
That's pretty awesome. That's a good idea too. Was that your idea to license all these different things?
Well, no, my partner Jeffrey Dash, he was a genius, and we did it. I mean, it's and I just want to be the ambassador of the brand. I don't own anything. I don't own anything. I don't have no credit cards. I live a very simple life. I'll tell you where to drop the money, though.
So, how about Al Pacino? What was it like to act with Al Pacino? I mean, it's a great scene.
Oh, Al, he's a great guy. He's such a great guy. No, I only talk to Al and Bobby De Niro. I don't talk to Jimmy Caan or all those other assholes. Jimmy Caan thinks he's Sonny Corleone. He walked after doing that movie. He really thought he was made. That's how I'm not seeing it.
So, what did you not get along with him when you were making the movie?
Oh, not at all. He hated me. He couldn't understand. He went to all this studying and all these schools and Stella Adler and everybody he went to. And then when he lost the Michael part, got the smaller part as Sonny, and got killed in the middle of the movie, and it was done. That really pissed him off.
So what was his problem with you? It's just that because he did all this studying
He
to be an
just
actor,
didn't.
and you didn't.
Yeah, and he saw my cars, and then he started to. I guess he did due diligence. I had one of the biggest houses behind the Beverly Hills Hotel while I was doing this movie. Hello. And he's going through a divorce after divorce. He's broke today again.
Yeah.
No, Jimmy's not a nice guy.
So I know you got hurt during the great fight scene. Do you think he?
Because of him.
Do you think he did that on purpose?
Well, I know he did. Even that Billy stick, that wasn't in the rehearsal. We rehearsed for a day. Every mark was there. The punches he was throwing, he was supposed to pull them. And the garbage pail thing, the punches worked well. The garbage pail, that was a steel garbage pail cover. He chipped my elbow. Then I'm crawling out under the hydrant to get to the hydrant. Remember that scene, I'm crawling?
Yeah.
And he drop kicks me, and he was just supposed to touch me. I reacted to it. Mm-hmm. This motherfucker drop kicked me like I was a football.
Yeah.
And then I'm laying there, and I felt hurt. But then I don't forget, it was my first movie. So when I went back to the hotel room, my whole chest, everything was killing me. I couldn't inhale or laugh. I said, "This is a tough business. I don't know if I want to be in it." I thought this happens all the time.
Right. Yeah, and you think, but that's not like a tough thing to do on his part because you can't actually fight back because you're the guy that's getting beat up in the movie. So it's not like being a tough guy and fight this guy.
No, years ago, I don't know if you remember when Trump in Atlantic City was having these big fights, and before the fights, they'd have like, what's her name, about Robert Conrad, when he had that battery on his shoulder and all that. And he had all these people coming in, Boom Boom Mancini, different people, even the kid, I like that kid a lot, actually, who was a boxer for the PAL, then he did Taxi, he had all those his own shows. That actor?
Tony Danza?
Tony Danza. Mm-hmm. So they did all those. So I called Trump up. I said, Donald, how about Jimmy Caan and I to go 3 rounds this time without garbage pails? And he went crazy for the idea. Jimmy wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I would kick the fucking shit out of him. Jimmy Caan,
right. When it's 1-on-1, when you actually both know that you're in on it, you're not going to actually fight, then he doesn't do it.
Well, I'm 10th degree Tai Chi, first of all. I studied.
Oh, all right.
No, I know what I'm doing, fortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So since the movie, there's have you had any interaction with him at all? Like, have you seen him places?
Oh, I see him places, and he was told he ran to Junior Versico. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was around, Andrew Russo and all those guys. It's a different family. They ran the Colombo family after Joe got shot. That was another whole thing. But anyway, he ran to them, saying, I don't know, because my best man, my weddings, was Tommy Bellotti. Tommy Bellotti got shot with Paul Castellano. It was his bodyguard. Boozy DeChico, I'm with every night. That's Frankie Boy DeChico's father. These guys were my friends. I didn't have to kiss their ass or anything else. This kid's up their ass, buying them tickets for the Garden. He wanted to be around these guys. Mm-hmm. So he set me up one night, and it backfired on him. We sat down with him, and we read him the riot act. I didn't say anything. I didn't have to. Mm-hmm. But Tommy Bellotti told him, if this kid gets a splinter, I'm going to stick a baseball bat up your ass. You understand who he is with us? Who the fuck are you? And Junior sat there. He said, Jimmy, you asked for this. I have nothing to say about it. And that was it. And they told him, when you see Gianni Russo on the street, cross the street. Mm-hmm. And that's it. I didn't even want to talk to him. He's an asshole.
Do you have any James Caan stories in the book?
No, I wouldn't even put his name in my book. Forget about it. I think I mentioned that, he chipped my elbow and he's a jerk. I put it in the book. Yeah. No, I mean, Pacino, De Niro, everybody else was so nice. He thought, mm-hmm. I thought maybe he really thought he was funny and he's in character, Uh-huh. But, because De Niro does that. De Niro takes a character on, and mm-hmm. I just did something with him. And for those 3 days, he was that guy. He didn't know me. He didn't know my name. It's so crazy. But he didn't chip my elbow or break my ribs.
You know,
Great stuff.
since you didn't have like actual training for an actor, when you work with people like that, De Niro, Pacino, is that kind of like acting school in a way? Like you learn something from these other actors?
You know, I'm going to tell you something, and your audience is going to hear something you could never believe. I had one acting teacher, Marlon Brando. I had one singing teacher, Frank Sinatra. The only acting I did in that movie was the closing scene with Pacino when he tells me I have to answer for Fantini. Do you know Brando worked with me every word of that script? Worked with me, showed how to do it. Is when they hand you the airline ticket, look at it, make believe you have to see that maybe you're really leaving. You already read the script. You already know you're dying. You have to let the audience don't know that you know. And that's the difficult part, he said. And he was the one who showed me all that. And he said, you know what, when you look around the room, when he asked who was it, Barzini or Tataya, you got to look around. These guys could chop off your head. You know that. So that was all Brando. And that's what made the scene work. All the other scenes were all violent and physical. There was nothing really. But to act, and because and for lay people listen to this taping, they don't. You don't really. We shoot a master. Everybody's in the scene of the master. Then they come and do a 2-shot or a 3-shot. Then they go over your shoulder to shoot Pacino. Then they go over Pacino's shoot to shoot you. All of that stuff has to keep coming. You have your motivation. You're crying. The tears in my eyes, my fear. I didn't know how to do that. Brando, he said, what's the worst thing you ever saw in your life? I said, my father used to beat up my mother. He said, you got to remember that. Every time you have to have that fear. You have to bring that. And that's how I got nominated. You know, I got nominated in Cannes for Most Promising Newcomer. But I mean, I'm not, patting myself on the back. I'm patting Brando on the back. Sure. That's why that scene worked. It was so believable. And I hear it from all over the world because now the film is so acclaimed. And that, to me, that was the only scene, but it was believable.
Like you said,
and the other thing I didn't realize, the size of the screen when that's being projected, it's like 36 feet by 16 feet. You better know what you're doing because when they're on a close-up of you, they'll know in 2 seconds. If you really were fearful or not. Yeah.
So when you saw that for the first time on the big screen, the whole movie and particularly that scene, what did you think?
I was really impressed. I said, look at it, I'm doing it. I love it. Well, I'm an egomaniac anyway. I mean,
sure.
Do
you think?
But I try to perfect it.
Do you think you have to be in a way, not necessarily an egomaniac, but do you think you have to have an ego to make it in any type of performance?
It's interesting because I've had this. I do motivational speaking. I think we all have to have an ego, no matter. Like you, right now, you have to project on the radio. You have to win your audience over. You obviously are prepared, and I tell kids this all the time. Whatever you want to do, be prepared to do it, and believe you can do it, and that's what it's about. I don't care what your profession is. My lawyers, they're the greatest actors in the world. When they're defending me, they get up there, they go all this bullshit, and I say, bravo, bravo. I was told not to do that anymore in a courtroom. I'd stand up and, after in a closing argument, I'd get up and say, bravo, bravo.
That's pretty awesome.
One thing about me, Neil, I don't give a shit about nothing.
I can see that.
Shot, blown up. I mean, I was kidding. I mean, I survived everything, and here I am. Yeah. And I'm taking now these, stem cells. And I go to, John Hopkins, and my doctors are amazing, Dr. Tawari. They said the way you live, because, I mean, my resting heart's 50. My blood pressure's 120. It's like stupid. You could live to 125, 150 years of age. Because anything I need, they can build inside my body. They're my own stem cells. And they're doing it. And I'm an experiment of it because of what, I mean, I was pretty, after the polio, which they wanted that to begin with because, I spent 5 years on the left side of my body. I had no motivation at all. I don't even have a limp. I have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 6-7 years ago, I was shot in New York 6 times at close range.
Oh, wow.
And here I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my throat's been cut. I've been poisoned. You name it. I love it. It's fucking nuts.
Well, what was the shooting about? Who shot you? What was the reason?
I can't even talk about it. It's crazy.
All right.
I can't even talk about it. It's like insanity.
Yeah.
No, we both, everybody said, let's just go home and forget about it. I was in New York Presbyterian, thank God, in 7 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Because I live on 61st Street. It happened right outside of my building, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
But I went right up to New York Presbyterian. Dr. Tuari, the doctor I just gave accolades to, he was my doctor. He's the head urologist there. Now he's at Cedars-Sinai. But he went in, man, took everything out, and repatched me up. And then I started with this experiment. And forget it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Like yesterday when I talked to you, I did 5 miles yesterday.
Yeah, I felt bad because I would try to walk every day. A couple of years ago, I was very sick and I was in the hospital for a long time. And since then, I try to walk a couple miles every day. And I walked 3 miles yesterday, and then you told me you walked 5, so I felt bad.
Well, now that I knew you have been rehabilitated in the hospital, why I sleep 10 to 12 hours a day, my doctors in the hospital told me that's the time your body heals. So every day, even now, I sleep 10 to 12 hours a day, and I do exercise, but no impact. I eat right, and again, not to stress that I'm 75, but shit, man, I'll go 10 rounds right now.
So I want to bring up, because, that's great. That's inspirational, I think, as well. I'm going to have Christopher Cerrone on the show soon, and he told me that I don't know if he's doing something with you or he's meeting you soon. Do you have any stories with Christopher Cerrone? He was the young Henry Hill in Goodfellas.
No, I know him. I don't have it. Henry Hill I knew, unfortunately. I hate to say that I knew a rat, but he's a rat.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, the kid. But
yes.
Other than that, I haven't seen him in a long time even.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's a good name. What's he looking like? How old is he now?
I'm not sure how old he is, but he looks good. He's on my Facebook page, a friend of mine on Facebook. I met him a couple years ago at a convention and kept, a little bit in touch with him, and he's going to come on the show. So, yeah, but he looks very good. I don't know.
Is he still acting?
Yeah. I think he's got something new coming up. It's very good.
We go into production 2019 on this Hollywood Godfather. Very
cool. And you can keep up with that information up on your website on GianniRusso.com.
Yeah, I'm always on everything, Instagram, Facebook, everything. I just had my 9th grandson last week.
Oh, really?
Now I got 9 sons, 2 daughters, 9 grandsons. I have 20 kids. Is that insane?
Big family, yeah. So,
well, the unique part was 10 mothers.
I understand. So I want to ask a question about Don Rickles, because there's always a favorite of mine.
Oh, I love Don Rickles. He's the best.
Yeah, he was the greatest. And I always fascinated about old school Vegas. So I think that's a great time.
I was his opening act, for a year.
Really?
He used to come to my. When I opened State Street in Vegas, I got the idea because selfishly there was nowhere to go other than coffee shops after 1 o'clock because of all the union hotels. So I built a joint 13,000 square feet, served gourmet food from 6 at night to 6 in the morning. Anything you wanted, Russian service, the dishes were finished tableside. I had everybody who's anybody in that club. So I used to go on stage and sing in my own club. So one night Sinatra's there, and then Don Rickles comes in, and he's sitting with Frank. And I get off stage. Frank says to me, "Don really likes the way you sing." I said, "Oh, great, Don, thank you." I said, "Well, he taught me," which is true. I went to Palm Springs to give me singing lessons. And the first time I was there, first 2 days, he had me submerged in the pool. I said, "I didn't come here, come swimming lessons." He said, "You got to expand your lungs." So he used to tie me. I used to submerge myself. And he said, the whole thing is, the instrument is the wind. Your throat is the instrument, and your stomach and lower diaphragm, you need to control your lungs and your wind, and then I'll teach you how to sing. And he did. But what he said, so with Rickles, he said, "He likes the way you sing." I said, "Great." He's giving me a phone. So I got him a phone. We plugged it in. And I didn't know he had Steve Wynn on the other end of the phone. He said, I'm here with Rickles at Russo's Club. He says, he really likes his singing. I want him to be his opening act for the next year. Don Rickles almost fell off the chair. He said, I already booked people. He said, well, fire them. You're going out with him. I said, okay, great. I was with him a year.
That must have been fun.
And so, I mean, oh, my God, the best. I traveled to Europe with him. So one night we're there, him and Bob Newhart and both wives.
Another one I love, Bob Newhart, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So now they're on the Via Veneto. I told them I'd meet them there. I said, where are you going to be? He said, oh, we'll be at the Cafe America. I said, I'll be at the Cafe Donne. When I get there, come and join me. I have a table there. So now they didn't know I had the use of the Vatican car. They gave me the car. I used to have it all the time. But this one night, I had the flags and all that shit. So I'm coming up. It's like midnight. And the crowd starts clapping. Pop, 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 pop. So I get out of the car. Rickles, knowing who he is, right? He starts screaming, that's not him. He robbed the Pope's car. That's not the Pope. It's Gianni Russo. I know him. He's a gangster from New York. Everybody was rolling on the floor. That's Don Rickles.
That's
He the best?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
He's the best. So I got some questions here from Facebook. They wanted, when I announced you're going to be on the show. Michael wants to know, what was it like filming Laser Blast with Roddy McDowall?
Oh, my God. That's going back. Yeah, that was like my second or third film. Roddy McDowall was amazing. I played this. You should pull this up. They wanted to use my car. You know what's interesting now that I'm thinking, wow, this is his brother was a big producer. And when I took the film, I thought it was the brother producing. It was his brother, his younger brother. But when they released Star Wars, they put this as a companion sci-fi movie with it. Mm-hmm. And that's how it got so many accolades. I mean, Roddy McDowall is totally insane. This guy, whoa. We were out in the desert at Fort Edward in Nevada, the Air Force Base. Mm-hmm. And they used the desert at night. Mm-hmm. And they floated neon in the clay cracks. And it looked like we were on the friggin' moon. Well, Roddy McDowall wanted to stay there, though. He thought he was on the moon, this guy. And there was only maybe about 100 feet of it. They didn't do the whole desert,
Right.
Laser blast, wow. That was funny. I was the only FBI agent or UFO agent that had a brand new Cadillac, and I was wearing Brioni suits because they wanted me to use my own wardrobe. I said, this is what I have. I don't want, you have nothing nice. I wear suits every day. That's it. You want me? There it is.
Let's see. The director of the movie Terrifier, Damien Leone, he wants to know how many takes did it take to do your death scene in The Godfather?
My death scene? Not many. Everybody thought that was it was in the car because once Clemenza pulled me up, then I rested my back on the top of that seat, and then I started kicking out the windshield. We did about 6 or 7 takes. The hard part was the camera was mounted on the hood. So that's why everything looked so real. Mm-hmm. But, you never saw my legs, and you never saw me pushing myself up either, because they were shooting it through the windshield.
Yeah. Okay. Danny wants to know what... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Danny wants to know, what was it like to work with Jackie Chan?
Oh, I love Jackie. The Rush Hour 1 and 2, that was great. Well, Brett Ratner was the director. Jackie's a gentleman. I mean... And such a pro, talking about doing his own stunts. I mean, this guy is crazy. I was with him when he jumped off the tower in downtown L.A. without a net, jumping to a helicopter. And they told me, we're 54 stories up. He said, I could do this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And he runs off the building. They time and he grabs the lower rung of the helicopter. That's nuts.
That's pretty wild. Let's see. Mike wants to know, I don't know if you want to answer this, I don't know, but wants to know, who is the best lover, Diana Warwick, Liza Minnelli, or Marilyn Monroe?
Marilyn Monroe, forget about it. She was like a baby. She was so innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Liza was a freak, and we can't even get into Dion Long. That was another whole thing that nobody realized what was going on. But out of respect, I can't talk to them about it.
Very, very good. I'm sure maybe we'll find out in the book some of these stories.
No. Dion's not even mentioned in the book. Only there's one thing about Dion, that's all.
All right, good enough.
No, somebody asked me recently, Nick Pileggi wanted to know why I left Grace Kelly out, because he knew I had a situation with her. Mm-hmm. I said, talking about Grace Kelly is like talking about the Blessed Mother. I could never do it.
That's very good of you, Gianni. Let's see. A lot of these things we already covered, but thanks everyone for sending questions in. Bryce wants to know how real was the atmosphere during the wedding reception in the household at the beginning of The Godfather?
Oh, no, that was real because, they weren't getting it, and they had 700 extras. And, I said, get real wine in these pitchers. What are we doing here? So my driver, I sent my driver down the hill to La Rosa. He got a couple of gallons of wine. We were drinking wine. But, second or third hour, everybody was having fun. That was real. That was good. And it's ironic? That band that played for that wedding played for two of my other weddings, real. That was Nino Morielli and his brothers. They were on Staten Island. They were the big dance band. And they played all the feasts. Mm-hmm. So I was like at one of my weddings, but somebody else was paying for it this time.
That's very cool. So I want to ask about your music, because I actually found a video of you singing My Way, which I thought you did a very good job. How can people get your music, and how could they see you perform? Do you live anywhere?
Yeah, I'm singing live a lot. In fact, I was cutting down, but I just love doing it. So I may be doing it again at the Regency Hotel right on my corner, 61st and Park. I was there for 10 years at Feinstein's. Mm-hmm. So I may be doing Wednesday nights there because I could just walk down and hang out. I love it. No, I'll be, is this going out right now?
Is
this going live?
No, it's not live, but it'll probably go probably this weekend. Okay.
Well, if you want to see me sing in Chicago, I'm at the Taylor Street Feast, Italian Feast in Chicago, Taylor Street Festa. I'm there on the 17th and the 18th and 20th, closing night, singing. And the following week, I'm in Butler, Pittsburgh, at their feast, singing Friday and Saturday night, 24th and 25th. So I'm all over I'm in Dubai, I'm in London, I'm all over. I love it.
No, very cool. I'll be in London in a couple of weeks. My first time in England. Looking forward to it.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So,
they could go online and if they get Reflections. Mm-hmm. Sinatra lent me his 28-piece band to do that whole session. He paid for the session. You believe that?
That's pretty wild. Yeah. It
was like $80,000 he paid.
Damn. Yeah. And what I liked about when I listened to you. Because I think, obviously, it's about the voice, too. Not saying that that doesn't factor into it, but I think a lot of those songs are about storytelling and, your charisma and, character-driven, I think, a lot of those songs.
Well, Sinatra told me to do that. Mm-hmm. People love to hear stories. You're a movie actor. Talk to them, too. Just don't sing. And then these people on stage, even pro, and now I want to sing, and now I want to sing. Hey, we came here to sing. Well, okay, how about a story? What'd you eat today? Tell me something. Uh-huh. People want to know that.
Yeah.
It works for me. I mean, I'm not a great singer, but I pack audiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was watching, that's what I thought. And I always think that's a big part of Sinatra, too, was when you listen to his songs, it's really, he's telling a story within them.
No, and that's what he did. He taught me that. The phrasing, the storytelling, building the song up before you sing it, all that stuff. It works. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm doing this now over 40 years. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Uh-huh. I don't know why people show up.
Well, I had a wonderful time talking to you, and I'm looking forward to reading the book when it comes out.
Oh, please. We'll do something in Boston or wherever you know. Where are you?
I'm on the Cape, I'm in the Cape, but I go up to Boston a lot. So there's probably more going on up in Boston than in the Cape.
Yeah, we'll go to Nikki's joint and we'll do a reading in the North End. All my Sicilian friends are up there.
All right, very good.
We'll do a book signing.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And God bless your audience. And wherever I am, come and say hello, man.
Definitely. I really appreciate being on, Gianni. It was great.
Anytime you want. It'd be my pleasure.
All right. Join us next week when Gianni returns. No, I'm just kidding. But definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.